Welcome to Wrestling with Adversity podcast, a platform dedicated to telling stories of overcomers, conquerors, and champions. Not all of our guests will be wrestlers, but they've wrestled with something in life and the challenges, obstacles, and problems we all can relate to. This next guest we have up is gonna be one of my favorites. Spent a lot of time with this individual through Wright Wrestling, our club, our wrestling club out of Indianapolis, Indiana. But more importantly, he's a good character, has good character traits, and I'm excited to dive in to see his growth from being a high school state champion to wrestling Big Ten at University of Indiana right now, and no furthermore, Joey Butler, how you doing, boss?
Doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. You currently vacationing right now?
Yeah, a little chill vacation back at my family's house. Taking some.
Okay, so you're in Whiteland right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, man, let's get right into it, man. I know that my audience perhaps following us, they're gonna know you pretty well, but I wanted to ask some things that they probably didn't know and some things that maybe have changed in the last, 12 to 24 months for yourself since being in college. Um, so from Whiteland to Bloomington, man, what's been the biggest mental or physical adjustment you've had to make transitioning from high school to college wrestling?
Took a few notes, so I'll use those to reference.
Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing probably for me, adjustment wise, is realizing. I mean, more so just getting out of high school is probably a bigger thing than even I feel like I don't hear that talked about a lot. Like it's more people are talking about the wrestling itself. Like wrestling is wrestling. It gets harder, obviously, but that's just at every level. I think getting out of high school is probably just a big like life switch up change. That most people, I mean, nothing else other than school in that traditional sense. So when you get out, it can be kind of a difficult thing. And I think the biggest thing that changed from that time is just realizing like I'm more than a wrestler. In high school,
Hmm.
it's very much the social dynamic is kind of like, what do you do? How are you successful? How are you like preparing for life after high school? And if you're a successful athlete at any level, that's not what you're like diminished to, but very much that is the box you're placed into. So when you get to college, your team is full of guys just like that. It's all those guys and they come together. It's kind of a beautiful thing. It's a cool thing to have a family and a team with that kind of dynamic going on. So you find out like a little bit more about yourself. I'd say you find where your energy flows to outside of just wrestling. You have a lot more free time than you do in high school. You have a lot more freedom and responsibility, and you have more say in how your day is going to go. So I think just realizing I'm more than a wrestler, figuring out why I'm doing it, because in high school it's kind of like a straight and narrow hallway. If you do what you do, that's really all there is. But then you get to college and all the walls are gone. You can kind of free roam around wherever you want, do whatever you want to do. So I think just finding out why you do it, finding something bigger than yourself. I think those are probably my biggest mental things, I'd say. Physically, though, on the physical side, the more wrestling side of it, I'd say the biggest things like technically hand fighting. Like I really learned that wrestling is all just hand fighting. Everything else is momentary.
Yeah.
It's 90% hand fighting, then 10% whatever happens in between, whatever opportunities open up. Top bottom obviously is difficult, but yeah, just being in perfect position the whole time. That's why I think college wrestling is so much harder. It's not like at our practices we're running 8 miles and doing 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 pull-ups, but you get conditioning because you're wrestling guys who are you got to be perfect or else that's where the capitalization happens.
Yes, I love that. I couldn't agree more. Position is so key when you're getting to the next level in college to high school. It's not a whole lot of new learning that you think goes on as much as people think happening, but it's more of those fine tune those position things. Switching gears, man, you're a big mindset guy. Mindset. When I say that, you coming from the community of Whiteland, they don't have a deep history of wrestling. They've had state champions, in the early 2000s and whatnot, but I really got an opportunity to work with you, man. I just seen like you put a community on your back, man. And like that's what I really admired about having the opportunity to coach you, man. Is seeing how many people you can wrangle together, and how influential you can be, man. Can you tell a little bit of the audience, where a little bit of that stems from, that mindset?
Yeah, I'll
and
try.
and also like just being like, I mean to cut you off, but just how you've been able to come and be so influential. Is it something that you always had about yourself? Did it come from the wins? Can you break that down to us?
Yeah, for sure. I think God works in exactly the way that He needs to work. And I think He sends perfect storms and He plants seeds well before they ever come to fruition. And I think my parents, obviously, I think I am a combination of my parents to the truest degree. I do think I have my own unique qualities and traits, but I think it's a result of the mixing of those two and how they raised me. So I think it's just I think I had a really good environment as a kid to kind of I feel like I was allowed a lot of freedom mentally to kind of explore what I wanted to explore. And I don't know, I think that just led me down a path where I could really find what I wanted. And I don't know, I'm super blessed that I even found wrestling because it's not something it wasn't something that ran in my family. Like you said, Whiteland's not a super deep wrestling school. There was no wrestling program being told to kids like, oh, come to the wrestling practice. There's nothing like that. But I think just my family, probably. I've always had, before I found wrestling, I was always just kind of looking for something as a kid. I'd say I was probably a pretty insecure kid. And I was always looking for something, somewhere I could be, somewhere I felt like I belonged. And when I found wrestling, I wasn't like super good at it or anything, but it was like, at least here, I know why I'm losing. I know
Hmm.
why things are going right. Because every other aspect in your life as a kid, you're clueless. Like you only know as much as you know. You can't understand the large grand scale. So to me, it was just like a lot of confusion, a lot of losing in every aspect. And then I get to wrestling and it gets super simplified, and I could kind of channel everything through that. And I really think everything that I am now, I mean, honestly, I learned so much from you. I mean, you laid a lot of the groundwork. I'd say when I first met you, like 8th grade, freshman year, just the way you articulated everything. And I mean, obviously not every coach is going to work for every kid, but I think you were like the perfect coach for me to ever have. You taught me so much about stuff that I'm even still just now like dissecting. It's had to sit in my subconscious for 6, 7 years. And now I still go back, revisit like the things you would tell me back at Whiteland Middle School, up in the wrestling room. I'm always having I don't know, reflections on that. And I think you planted really good seeds as a coach.
Man, I really do appreciate that because, you know, I knew at that time when I was still heavily competing, I didn't have, we didn't have the structure or many kids I was pouring into at that time. Even me being a father now of 5 kids, when you just have one kid or 2 kids, you're pouring into them as parents. You have a lot, but as you start getting more kids, it's harder to pour into all of them. And at that time, with you and Reese Courtney, you guys' family were so dedicated and trust the process, and I was a guy that just loved the sport, man, and you guys were like little sponges. So I'm glad to see that things that we talked about are also still making sense on this next level for you.
Oh
um
yeah.
let's talk about setbacks, man. And what I mean by setbacks, I don't mean things that you wanted to happen that didn't happen, but let's look at the setbacks like a setup. So you recently, you got into IU after becoming a state champion, after becoming a state runner up, and finally becoming a state champion, and you have all the success, a lot of attention, a lot of people riding on you. How did you manage, coming straight into college and taking some beatings, and being able to have a being able to set yourself back up to where you are at now?
Yeah. I think like you said, setups. I like to look at basically I don't even like to. It's kind of automatic. My mind just kind of uses wrestling as a proxy. So when I kind of look at how life works, I'm seeing like the setups, like apply pressure, setups. You have to do 2 or 3 before anything ever happens. So I think it's always kind of been in motion. By the time I got to college, I'm pretty used to like losing. I started wrestling really late, so to me, I don't really feel like I take losing too personally. It's kind of
Mm.
just that's kind of what you have to do. My head coach Angel Escobedo, he says I like this quote a lot. He says if you want to increase your successes, double your failures, and it's like I have the perfect opportunity. I'm at a new level where I'm not at the level of everybody else. I'm surrounded by people who can beat me. So I might as well just get beat as much as I can. It was super hard, like, but I think so often we ask God to give us something or
Hmm.
to make us somebody, and it's like, okay, but that's not going to be a super smooth process. It doesn't just look like you're going to wake up and have it one day. It's okay, you ask for it in a month. One of the hardest things you're ever going to go through is going to happen, and then how you deal with that is how you're going to gain the things that will make you into that person.
Yes,
So
sir.
wrestle on the next level, and I think taking all those losses, I think that just prepares me to do what I want to do on that level.
I love that. I love that. Now, the show is called Wrestling with Adversity. Can you highlight, if that wasn't it, some adversity you might have went through behind the scenes, or something that was more public, that you currently, you're getting through, or something that you already conquered?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, two things really come to mind. First, like you were saying, like the first year is always tough, but my entire redshirt year, it felt like was just a blur of just the most difficult time of my life, I'd say. I mean, it was hard. Wrestling's hard. Life is hard. Everything you know is turned upside down. You're living in a new environment, new dynamics, new people, new everything. So, I mean, that's just the hardest stuff. And in those moments, the only way I feel like you could ever deal with anything like that is kind of finding something larger than yourself. So, in those moments you have to look to your root values. You have to look to your family, your friends, your teammates, God, something larger than yourself, because that's at the end of the day the only thing that can kind of keep you going as an individual. But also, one really specific moment of adversity, I had my wrestle off last year and I lost to our 141 pounder, and I was kind of not happy about it. I lost in overtime to him. He's pretty good. He's beaten All Americans before. He's a national qualifier level guy. And I was like, I'm gonna have to earn this spot during the season. I'm gonna have to go win in competition. I mean, number of situations, scenarios keep happening. I don't end up getting that varsity spot at 41. He gets a good ranked win, so I'm not really having my opportunity. But God works in ways, and I ended up getting the spot at 49. And if you were to ask me at any point, like after my wrestle off or even during my redshirt year, like if you would have told that version of me like how it was going to go and like you were going to end up being the guy at 149 at Big Tens, I just would have been like, how? And I mean, it's not our job to know how. It's just our job to walk the path. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know that we had a lot of conversations about that as well. And I was telling you, man, um, I believe, if you can just get a shot, just get to the Big Tens, man. Whether it's at 41 or 49, I knew 33 was going to be, I knew that would hurt. You can make the weight, but I don't want to hurt your development. And I seen you develop even so much to the day because of getting to go 49 and work on your skills. And work on getting better at the sport. And I think that you're so right. We, as humans and as people, we always want to know the hows, the whats, and the whys. And it's so important for us to minimize ourselves and our egos to follow the Lord's path, and take us to the next level. One more question moving forward, man. What advice can you give to the next champs? Like, what would you say to the next kid that's grinding, in the dojo, hoping to follow a path like yours?
I think got a couple notes. Let me look. I mean, realistically, it's pretty simple. I feel like it's hard, but I mean, hard and simple aren't synonyms. They're different things. So I think you have to have fun. If you're not having fun, I mean, you're just not going to be in it. Your soul is not going to be it. Your body is you're going to get hurt. Stuff's going to happen. You're going to take scars. I think you have to really you have to put everything into it. There can't be anything you're not putting into it. You can't have there's no insurance policy in wrestling.
Mm,
If you're going to go
mm,
be a champion, you just have to decide, okay, being a champion isn't about the outcome. I may never win the title that I say I want to win, that I'm trying to manifest in my life. That doesn't matter. I'm still a champion simply by the fact that I live like a champion. So there can't be. I think wrestling is the greatest teacher in teaching you how energy works, like in this world, like kind of the next level above the physical level. You have to realize where your energy is going, what the exchange is, because everything's a transaction. So if I'm throwing my energy into not really good things, that's sapping my energy. That's parasitic. It doesn't help me.
Mhm.
It's just living
Mhm.
off of me. So you have to find things that are symbiotic with you. You have to find those things, and that'll help express in your wrestling. And you have to study. You have to study the sport. And not even just modern wrestlers, not the Bo Nichols, not the Vitos, not the Kyle Dakes. You have to go back. You gotta look at history. You have to see the roots of our sport. You don't want to just look at the where the branches are. Go go study some Greek philosophers. Go study the greats. Go read about war. Go read about tragedy, adversity, things that really
Now,
shape
Joey,
men into.
where does that come from, man? I see that you've always been a not only a student of sport in the wrestling, but you've always been a student of life. You've always had philosophical things you would bring to the dojo, or things that whether it was different to the other guys that were in the dojo with us, from Pickle to to Lang to Reese. What is that stuff? Where does that come from? Is that was Papa Joey, was he a big reader? Was his mom a reader? Are they researchers? I know your father is a successful realtor. Man, like what does that stem from? Because I've always admired that about you.
Definitely, probably my dad. I'd say. I mean, he was always he's telling me something. You know what I mean? My dad's very knowledgeable about like a large spectrum of things. So
He
I
is.
would be young and I wouldn't really know exactly what he's talking about, but he'd give me something. He'd give me some seed, and I'm like, well, I don't know exactly what that means or what that is, but I should probably go find out because if he's talking
Yeah.
about it, it's probably he kind of instilled, I would say, like a natural curiosity. And I don't know. I think there are some things not everyone's going to be exactly like me, and I'm not like everyone else. So maybe that kind of doesn't come as naturally to everybody else. But I mean, I'm blessed that that does come naturally to me. I feel like I'm a pretty curious person. But you got to kind of roll with what's given to you. You got to, maybe it's not by your hands, but it's in your lap. And God wanted
Mm.
you to have exactly what you have. So just using your gifts and abilities.
Hey viewers, if y'all didn't pick that up, Joey dropped like 5 or 6 gems, but that was say that again one more time for them, Joey.
Hey, man, not by your hands, but in your lap. You might not
Now,
have created it, but it's right there.
not my. Yes, sir. I love that. I love that. I love that. Now, Joey, I've been, I told you a while ago, me being coach. All my guys, before I moved back to Indiana, I was coaching in Iowa previously when I was still at Graham University, and I followed all my guys to whether they went to Division I schools or JUCOs, wherever they went with their wrestling journey, and some of them are still coaching to this day. Um, what do you where do you see yourself in the sport in the next 10 years? So he put his 2035. There's been a couple of cycles in freestyle. Where would you like to see yourself, in the sport in 10 years?
This answer has changed probably a lot for me in like the last 2 years, I'd say. I think
Wait, pause. Wait, pause. And maybe you've outgrown the sport in 10 years. Because this platform is not just for wrestling. This platform is about tackling adversity and why adversity makes us all like one another, right? And I told you I feel like you were a young politician when you were in high school. Getting voted for certain things, and you're like, I don't know, coach, is that and third, but and you know how influential you are, but yeah, let the viewers know what does it look like for Joey Butler in 2035, even if it's beyond wrestling. What does that look like for yourself?
I think I think wrestling's just gonna send me on a journey. I think I'll win a couple national titles. Whenever it feels like it's done, I'm gonna try not to overstay my welcome. I'm gonna try to separate myself from it as much as I can. Not in a bad way, but just when it's time, it's time. When God's telling me, like, hey, you've done what you needed to do in the sport and you have the ability to go get something else. Because I'm a very, it's not a flaw, but I think it kind of takes a level of maturity to see, like, where ambition can turn bad. And
Mm.
I think I'm nowhere near like the most mature or wise person, but I think I'm starting to realize that ambition's cool. It'll get you going. It'll get you to a level. Ambition got me to a state title. But ambition isn't what like keeps me going in college. What keeps me going in college is love. Like what I love what
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Yes.
That's a much more sustainable thing than ambition. Ambition is a hole you can't fill. I could go win a national title. I'm expected to come back the next year and do it again, and I'd want
Mm-hmm.
to. I'd want to really badly. And eventually, when my time comes, I hope God gives me the strength to kind of separate my ego from it. Because if it was up to me, I would wrestle forever. But
Yeah.
I think God has more than that planned for me. I really wanna change, not change the world. I'm not worried about outcomes, but I just want to be the best me I can be and try to help and educate and empower as many people as possible. Because I think if you're really paying attention to like the world landscape as it is, a lot of stuff's going down. Without getting like any specifics, just a lot of things in the world are going down. We're living in unprecedented times, and every generation thinks that, but like they're all right too. Every
Yeah.
moment is new, so we're unprecedented times, and I just want to make sure I'm doing what I can, and I think
Yeah.
wherever that leads me in 10, 20 years, I don't know exactly, but I think I'll be in the right place.
Man, Joey, I love that. And just to reiterate on that, man, I totally agree that God is using you, and he's gonna continue to use you, and it might be in the sport to, create other champions. It might be for you to, change the landscape of Indiana or this country one day, but I've always loved that mindset about you. Let's go into some more of your hobbies, man, before I let you go, because I've been following you on social media. I see you're doing some rock climbing stuff now. You drink a little bit of the goat's milk, man. Your diet, your lifestyle's different, man. You brought Liver King to me way before he had millions of followers. You brought this influencer to me, and we're not gonna go into his facts or his fiction or whatnot, but let's talk about where does that stem from you, like that curiosity, and how does that benefit you in the sport of wrestling? And what the hell
I
are you
think
drinking nowadays? What is the goat milk? What break down to our audience the benefits of these things that you're doing? Tell us the benefits, man.
I actually got in an argument with the doctor like 2 days ago about it, man. I almost crashed out. I almost crashed out fully. I almost lost control. But I saw a Kyle Dake documentary when I was probably 15 years old. I was cutting weight, I was riding a bike, and I just got my Flow Wrestling subscription, and they had all the fucking Flow film. Sorry, didn't mean to cuss. They had
You're
all the
good.
Flow
We'll
films
cut you.
on there. Yeah, and they had a Kyle Dake one. I listened to it, and Kyle Dake has been on a lot of really good stuff like for a while. And I remember him talking about like putting a copper wire to his bed, going outside, grounding, taking his shirt off, getting like sun in the eyes, eating liver, eating seasonally. And I was like, all that makes sense. That's like that is the most tuned in you could be. I didn't know why any of it, but I knew like that's probably something in me resonates with that. I don't know if that's some sort of software God put into me for me to recognize, for me to see, but whatever it was to me, immediately I was like, "Oh, you can't leave any stone unturned. If I know something and then I choose intentionally not to do it, that will do me more harm than somebody who doesn't know it and doesn't do it." So, by proxy of me even knowing, I have to do that stuff.
Mm.
So, I try to I mean, our physical bodies, I mean, it is our temple. It is the vessel God has given us to operate at this level of life. So, I mean, I couldn't really see myself disrespecting it. That wouldn't really help me in any way. So, the raw milk, man, the raw milk, pasteurized milk. Only reason you pasteurize milk is because we started having factory farms mid 1950 or mid 1900s, early 1900s. We needed such large scale production after the Industrial Revolution. They had cows on top of each other. These cows, feces everywhere, disgusting machines. They're all used over and over again. Bacteria everywhere. Any illness is breaking out to all the cows. All the cows are getting sick. You take the milk. Obviously, if you drink that milk, you're going to get sick. They have to
Hmm.
heat this milk up. They have to kill all the bacteria in it. But guess what? There's not just bad bacteria, there's good bacteria. We know that. Our gut has so many bacteria. Our gut is our brain. It affects our mood, our memory, our recall, everything. So you destroy the good bacteria in there that are literally made to help a growing mammal get to an adult mammal size. You're doing a lot of not good stuff. You're denaturing the protein, not necessarily quantity of protein. You're getting the same amount, but
Hmm.
quality, you're not getting the same stuff. We don't pasteurize our mother's breast milk. That's not a thing we do. It is a different animal. That doesn't change anything. People like mammals are so closely related. There's a lot I could get into it. I could go down a rabbit
So,
hole, but
so what you are breaking down to the audience is you feel there factually are more health benefits to drink the unpasteurized milk or pasteurized. Break pasteurized or unpasteurized. Okay. Okay.
unpasteurized. Yep.
Unpasteurized. And
But
how
it
does this
has
stuff taste, Joe?
cow raised
How does this
a
stuff
thousand
taste?
times better. It tastes like
Okay.
real milk. Right at the store tastes like watered down milk flavored water. That's what it tastes like.
Hey,
It tastes like milk flavored water.
my children, they don't know too much of the difference between milk, like almond, like certain milks and water. They don't know the difference, versus I
Same.
remember growing up in a generation where, and I don't know if this was a time where, when I go deep down a rabbit hole where, got milk was like a huge campaign around America in the 90s where a lot of Olympic athletes, world champions, they were promoting the consumption of milk, 2% milk, and as you sit here now in 2025 and you let us know, the audience that's listening to us that are um, understanding what we're breaking down is you're telling us that we at that moment have been drinking milk that is doing us a disjustice.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude. There are so many things. It's getting more mainstream. It's getting more popular, but there are so many ways we have been pointed in the wrong direction in our health in the last 100 years. And I could get into like political aspect ratio of it, but I mean, if you just pay attention, that's all it takes. If you pay attention with an open mind, willing to have your realities that you thought were realities be wrong, if you're willing to accept that at any level, food is the first place you get in to where you start realizing stuff. Once you realize the food has been compromised, like we've been
Mm.
told to eat other things that we shouldn't be eating, that's when you start looking at like the next step, like the bigger stuff than that. But I mean, yeah,
Now,
I mean,
Joe,
there's
with
people
this,
out here drinking milk, not eating any fat in the milk. So the fat's the most important part. But yeah.
do you think this is like one of the biggest adversities that our world, our government, our country is undergoing right now? Is the line of organic food, what's organic, what's not real, there's a lot of it seems like there's a lot of confusion in the world. Do you think this is like one of the top adverse things that's going on right now in America?
Oh, for sure. I think as a country, we are very individualistic. We don't stay with our families. We move out when we're 18 or 20 to go start anew. It's like, dude, you're 18 years old. You're not ready to start anything. You're supposed to be around your
Yeah,
family, and then you're supposed
yeah.
to adopt whatever your family has. But as a culture, America, we do things a little bit different than the rest of the world, and I think everything that goes on in America is a result of that. If you look at how it would logically go, so I mean, if you can go and people are scared of taking responsibility. That's the biggest thing. That's why wrestling's hard because you
Hmm.
have to take responsibility. It's hard to look in the mirror and be like, "Dang, I lost because of me." When you stop looking at the rest of the world, you stop. I'm not telling anybody to stop watching the news completely, but like you shouldn't be watching the news every single day because the external world you can't control it. It's okay to be aware, but to a level, our minds aren't meant to know what's going on in each corner of the world. Our minds are meant to be worried about our family, us, and that's basically it. I mean, you can be interested in other things, but you're cluttering your mind. Our minds aren't meant to process information like that. We're meant to be
Hmm.
doing smaller scale stuff. So when you can conquer, I think you're not even conquer, when you can get in touch with like your inner reality, the external reality follows. So it can be overwhelming, like, oh, all this food, all this big bad. I mean, take the first step. You take the first step, everything follows.
Man, Joe, I know we can go on and on about, what's going on in today's reality, but I think for me, having a former one of my wrestlers that has a large level of influence and, is embarking upon new knowledge and not only just learning it, but like utilizing it for the greater good. And I've always tell you, man, hey, keep spreading that knowledge because you know, one person at a time, does affect change, and impact in a positive way. And the way you're living your life, man, and I want to make sure that the people that are following know that you're one of those authentic ones. You're one of those real ones that everyone should feel like if he
Appreciate it.
did it, I can do it. Because that's always how I felt like about myself. But when people succeed at a high level and they do it consistently, people start to separate ourselves from that other person. Like, well, he did it. He's on this level. It's like, no, we all are very much the same, right? And if he can do it, so can I. And you've always had that type of aura to yourself. And I want you to keep that up, man. And we're gonna close it off. Anything you would like to, set the presence with the audience and let us know about wrestling with adversity, what you got coming, or end it on a good note.
Yeah, for sure. A couple things to look out for. I think me and a couple close friends were looking to start a business soon, so be on the lookout for that. If
Yes,
you
sir.
follow me on any socials or anything like that, we're looking to start an apothecary kind of brand. We're trying to put power back into people, knowledge wise. Knowledge is the biggest thing, so it's kind of a goal for our new mission. So be on the lookout for that. Um, just one thing about like the OG dojo. I mean, just kind of paying tribute to it.
Yes, sir.
I remember I was this hits like very close to me because the whole way I've attacked my life, like the last 5-6 years of my life, has stemmed exactly from this moment. I remember one day it might have been the Southside location back when we were at near the Greenwood Airport, but
Yes, sir.
I remember we practiced and we sat there and Tim was there, your dad was there, and you were just you've always been very good at talking. And I'm not like some great communicator, I don't think, but I do think I get a lot of that skill from you, like listening to you talk, how you communicate ideas, how you can like have a presence and kind of orchestrate things orally. So I think you were laying the foundation of how manifestation just works at a base level. And like to my 14, 15-year-old mind, I hear something. I didn't hear exactly what it was probably, but I knew it was big. I went home that night and I wrote on a piece of paper I basically the entire concept of like how you described it as much as I could, like reciting it, and I hung it on my wall. And that paper is still in my room right now, up in my room. And I looked at it every day of high school. I'd look at it in the morning, and I was like, "This is how it works." I know. I trust this guy because I just know. I don't need to. I think when you get in touch with your intuition, you can just know things. You can second
Yes.
guess yourself. That's a waste of energy. Sometimes you just have something. And I knew that was right. I was like, okay, I know this is right. I'm sticking with it. And I mean, you're the reason I wrote thousands of pages of just Joey Buttler, IHSAA champion. You're the reason I write every day. Joey Buttler, 2026, 149-pound NCAA champion. I mean, that stuff's real. So if you're listening to me or this podcast or anything ever, I mean, most importantly, listen to the people you trust because they're probably leading you in the right way. And secondly, just anything's possible. Put it in the universe, and the universe is very malleable. It will shape it. It will
Mhm.
shape that reality for you. God will give you what you 100% every time.
Man, Joey Butler, that was perfectly put. I definitely I can't thank you enough, man, just for being just one of the stand up most committed um young champions ever had. I look forward to just keep following your progress moving forward. And manifestation is very real. All those goals, all those things that you want to accomplish, not only on wrestling but in life, they're out there for you. Just go get it. 1
1,000%.
love, man. This is in our episode, wrestling with adversity with Mr. Joey Butler, man. You guys, I'll add his tag on his Instagram and all the social media stuff. Like Joey says, he has a business going to be coming open here soon. Whenever he drops that, we'll probably try to partner and throw his logo up here, our little link where you guys can support what he has coming up. And wrestling with adversity, guys, we're all family. Love,
Thank you.
all love, Joey.
I'll see you, coach.
Peace out, Bubba.